All right, Shalom. Shalom, all praises, all glory, all honors going to Yahweh by Shemi Hawashai, by Shemi Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This will be another edition of Israelites in History. And what I have here is an article. This is from newsbreak.com, where it says here, the only document to prove that Israel has existed for more than 3,000 years. And, a lot of common thought around the world is the existence of Israel and so-called Bible characters and the things that were written in the scriptures, which, of course, over the years, there's been documents and historical references to the existence of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who we know his true name to be Yahweh Shai. Certain other accounts and things that's dealing with King David, Jerusalem, and other accounts in the scriptures. But it's also questioned among historians as well if Israel either existed at all or they question the miracles. I mean, you even got Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, that question the miracles of the Most High and Yahweh Shai. But this is an article here which, further proves what we have been saying, starting with the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, about who we are as a people and what we have been preaching on the street corners for years. So it says the only document to prove that Israel has existed for more than 3,000 years. It says a stele or inscription by the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Merneptah is the first evidence of the existence of an ancient Israel. The stele comes to be known as the Merneptah stele or the Israel stele. The Merneptah stele is the earliest textual reference to ancient Israel beyond what is written about in the Bible. Now understand this, the Bible is not a religion book. It's not a how-to book on worshiping God, and it is a family history book recorded by the sons of Israel through kings, prophets, and wise men and teachers. It is a family hit. It's not unlike a photo. Today we have photo albums. You have the family photo album. Well, our family photo album is the Bible. That's why throughout the Bible you hear about the Israelites being God's chosen people from Genesis to Revelation. All right? So now it says the Pharaoh Merneptah ruled Egypt from 1213 to 04 BC. He was known for defending the Egyptians, which would be the 1204 BC. He was known for defending the Egyptians against the Libyans, which the Egyptians and the Libyans are families that go back to Ham, which is one of the sons of Noah. All right? Egypt was known as Mizraim. All right? And Libyans will be known as Put. All right? It says the victory of Egypt over the Libyans led Merneptah to order the construction of 4 steles or commemorative texts. Out of the 4 steles, one of them mentions Israel, which what happened was kings, what they do it today, we have memorials to battles, even here in America, that we've won from our enemies overseas. Okay? All right. It says the Merneptah stele mentioned Israel because the Pharaoh Merneptah had also come up against the people of Israel and defeated them. The stele mentions the quote about Israel: "Israel is wasted, bare of seed." At the time of the inscription on the stele, the Egyptian empire included Canaan, Israel, and the region known as Syro-Palestine. So let me see if I can go into the scriptures here. Let's see. Which I know is going to mention a lot in the Old Testament dealing with, let's see. I'm not sure if that name doesn't appear in the scriptures. And I didn't see any scriptural references here yet. But it's almost done. So it says, Israel is wasted, bare of seed. At the time of the inscription on the stele, the Egyptian empire included Canaan, Israel, and the region known as Syro-Palestine. In modern times, the Merneptah stele was discovered in 1896 in the Egyptian capital of Thebes. Physically, the stele resembles a black granite slab that is 10 feet high. And an inscription on the stele mentioned that it was carved in the 5th year of Merneptah. For historians and biblical scholars, the Merneptah stele proves that Israel has existed for more than 3,200 years and that it was already a significant power. Israel was so significant that Merneptah celebrated its defeat. The Merneptah stele is currently held at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. All right. I'm going to click on a link. Let's see if any of these articles give any scriptural backup. Okay. Which all of this is good. Good information. And I don't see anything here. So I'm going to do more. Okay, so let me read this here. Now, this is from Watch Jerusalem. It says, Israel then must have been a people strong enough for Merneptah to mention them in boasting of his victory. If Israel was some small nomadic tribe just beginning to settle in Canaan, Merneptah wouldn't have had anything to boast about. Alternatively, if Israel had been established for 200 years, built its own structures, and had a stronger military, then his victory would be worth mentioning. And that makes sense, So it says, note, the word used here for Israel is referring to the people, not the land. It also implies that Israel did not have a king, which would mean they were still in the time of the judges when Merneptah invaded. This suggests the Exodus occurred even earlier than the 13th century BCE, something that is confirmed in the Bible. See 1 Kings 6:1. So let's deal. Let me see if I want to go. Let's see if I can go to 1 Kings 6:1. It says, and it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel will come out of the land of Egypt, and the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month Ziph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of the Lord. So I'm guessing they're referring to the fact that it's been 480 years. And Solomon's time of ruling was around the 900s. So if you go back around 480 years, that would pretty, let me see, 9,000, 11, 12, 3. Yeah, a little before the 1300s. So, that could be possible. Historians debate on different dates. Okay, but see, now it mentioned the time of the judges. All right. So let's see if there was, because in the book of Judges, let me see, Moab. In the book of Judges, it mentions how Israel was ruled over Moab for 18 years. So let's see if we can see any time of them being underneath the Egyptians during the time of the Judges to back up the article. All right, so Othniel was one of the first judges of Israel. Ehud delivers us from Moab when he put forth the dagger, and Moab's fat king, Shamgar. All right. Deborah and Barak, which Deborah had a famous prayer. Yep, a famous song and prayer by Deborah. And I'm just scrolling through the scriptures. I'm not exact. I'm trying to see if I can find exactly. See, Israel was oppressed by the Midianites, which is a family of Ishmael, and this is all during the time of the judges. This is before we have been given a king. All right, and Gideon was a judge. All right, that delivered us from the Midianites and Amalek. And we all know who Amalek is, all right? The small hats. Gideon has 300 men chosen by the Spirit of the Lord. I don't want to make this too long. Let's see what I can do. Now, what I can probably do to make this shorter. Let's go to Google. Let's see. Egyptian. Bear with me, captivity. And during Judges. All right, so it's the Egyptian domination of Canaan during Joshua Judges. I don't see any, because see, a lot of these things are just historical points, right? It mentions the Merneptah Stele, okay? You know, this is what it is. It means to actually go into the scriptures and study, because there's information out here. So it mentions Judges the 4th to the 5th chapters. Right. Because we had defeated Canaan, so we were present in Canaan. All right, and this is what I was just reading. So we had defeated Canaan. And basically what happened was Pharaoh Merneptah had invaded Canaan and conquered Israel. Okay? All right? And then Israel even saw the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Midianites. So it seems like it lines up. But the stele does exist. Okay? Israel was written about during this time period, and Let's see if I can find. Let me see. If I find any more. Why isn't there an Egyptian oppression in the book of Judges? All right, and that could be overshadowed by maybe because Israel was in the time of Judges, you know. Um, so yeah, that's interesting find, you know, that I had from this article. Um, I'm going back, you know, how I mentioned that because Israel was mentioned over 3,000 years ago, and that lines up. Okay, you know, on until the time of us getting a king in the book of Samuel with King Saul and King David on to King Solomon, right? So I hope that was edifying. You know, it's just always good. It's always good to do this type of research to just, you know, further prove, but also uh, uh, you know, boost our faith. So with that, our praises, our glory, our honors going to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and of the great millstone. Shalom.